gives meaning to your lives? What's deeply important to you?
We're just jumping right into it.
I mean, is that all you want to know? So, I mean, there's a lot of different ways people can go about answering this question.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what's really important to you in your life?
Human interactions, I think. And interactions with non-human species, right? Interactions with the environment, and interactions with other people, I think would be where I would provide meaning in my life.
And how does that bring you meaning? Where do you find that meaning in your interactions?
I mean, I think the reason that the question's tough to answer is that, I think the answer would vary by context of that situation. So, just running through like a laundry list of like things that I do on a regular basis, the meaning in that situation is just sort of specific to it, and I imagine like isn't stable across a sort of a lifespan. Definitely not a lifespan, but even within like a single day.
Yeah.
Like what's meaningful when you're eating a salad, right? Like for lunch, we just came from lunch.
Right.
So I don't know. I think that's why it's a bit of an overwhelming, question, because we tend to act in the moment, and like the moment presents different opportunities and different affordances and constraints and these sorts of things.
I mean, meaning or value, I'm not sure if it deals with in the instant, right, in that given time, or is meaning something that's appreciated over time. So if we think back on our lives, and those moments that we don't remember, which is most of our lives, are those the moments without meaning? And is meaning therefore what persists over time, or is sort of lying on a grassy field, feeling the sunlight on your body, right, and the slight breeze over you,
right,
something that you might not remember? I mean, does that have meaning, right?
Yeah.
Or does it have to persist? Right? I mean, is meaning sort of instantaneous, or is there a temporal component?
There's this really good there was this really good quote from Andy Warhol where he said there was this time when he was thinking about this this big play that he was going to go to in 6 months, right? Like he got tickets to the theater, and he spent like all the time leading up to the 6 months, like what's the play going to be like? It's it's going to be this and that, like thinking about what's he going to wear, all of these things, right? So he goes to the play, gets in a taxi, goes to the play, and 3 months later recalls the event, and all he can remember is the taxi ride. And he's like, says afterwards, like, maybe if I would have spent all of my time thinking about how good the taxi ride would have been, then I may have remembered, the theater. So I think you're absolutely right. These, like meaning will sort of, I mean, we may not even notice, right? It may not even be something that we remember that's meaningful in the moment.
But what would it be like you can have, say, the bigger meaning or something, but what does actually give meaning today, or to you wake up in the morning, you go to your daily routine, you reflect back on the day. Not if you don't look at the big thing or the unusual. What does actual give meaning? It brings meaning to you. What is meaningful for you? What keeps you going? What is your drive? What is your is it? You're clearly doing research. You're a student. You're actively in the field of knowledge and acquiring knowledge and research and understanding. But even that, how does that contribute to me? What is it behind all that makes you do it? Or are you? So what is it?
Yeah, I mean, there's sort of different levels here. So to go back to your question as to what do we enjoy in our life, right? I love, I'm an avid dancer, so I do a lot of dancing.
Yeah.
I do bicycle riding, right? These are the sort of things that I enjoy, and you can say that they provide meaning. They really just provide happiness, right? They sort of provide a stable environment where I can go and do something that I enjoy. But you know, whether that's valuable for me, right? It's valuable for my mental health and getting through the days and whatnot. I'm not sure. I mean, it's meaningful for me, right? So there's a meaning on sort of the individual level, but in terms of education and research, right? This is meaning on a whole different level, right? This is meaning sort of on the level of society, meaning on the level of pushing forth our understanding of the universe and providing a basis for which other people can then build off of, right? And I think these are sort of different levels of meaning. One deals with the society as a whole, right? This also brings sort of joy, right? This also provides individual meaning for me to say that I've contributed somehow to this process of science and progressed our understanding of the world and the universe.
So where in that contribution do you find that meaning?
I would go back to interactions, right? So we have, I mean, if what I do is provide something for someone else in the future, right? Yeah. If it allows other people to benefit from it, then that would provide me meaning. I mean, this, of course, how do you get meaning out of that, right? You know, whether meaning just comes down to sort of emotional responses, right? I mean, it seems a bit of a naive way to look at it, but
no, I mean, I actually don't think that's a naive way of looking at it at all. I mean, like, but there's also other ways of looking at it, like sort of thinking, you know, like what does emotion actually do in your body? Like, it actually maps directly onto like your hands and your arms and your shoulders. So if you're on a hike and you know, I mean, this happened to me when I was in India. I was on a hike, and you know, this giant, like pretty much giant lizard, like came, you know, fell from the tree right in front of me, and this, you know, you get the startle emotion, right, and it maps right onto your shoulders. It literally pulls you back. It was as if someone, you know, grabbed my shoulders and yanked me back. It's just emotion, routine emotion, that if you pay a little more attention to, you realize sort of is a sort of basic action. It's cueing something that your body should do, and like that design in humans is unbelievable, because it means that like before you've done the action, you've had some like representation in your body of it. So emotion would have been like a major like sort of design feature that is meant to be like directly meaningful, directly like, do I go in this route or this route? Do I try to jump the gap or do I not jump the gap?
Is that then we equate meaning with feeling good or feeling happy? Is that, that's good enough, but is that how we equate meaning?
Right, so I mean, that's where it gets really complex, right?
Yeah.
Because like there have been many people in history who felt like a positive, you know, rush of emotion for doing really awful things, right?
Yes,
right.
So it's not so clear as saying, you know, the positive emotion is the meaning, right?
Yes.
But I mean, there is some interaction between like your social context, you know, the norms that you grew up. It's like, you know, the relation between emotion and your role in society is like, you know, and the actions that you do is you know, there's something deeper in there that I think we pretty much know very little about.
I mean, it's clearly not just positive emotions, right? I think meaning can come from negative emotions.
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, so to say that, I mean, from hurting someone else and feeling remorse, right? That can be very meaningful in your life. Having someone die, right, and feeling these very negative emotions, right? That provides a huge amount of meaning for you. So meaning isn't necessarily good, right? I mean, it has no sort of intrinsic property of I mean, we can
Other than what you were saying.
in terms of emotions, right? I mean, they can be positive, they can be negative. They all provide meaning.
Yeah.
Right. So thinking of meaning is sort of being positive, I think, is not the way to look at it.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you know, someone's positive emotion can result in somebody's negative emotion, right? So
But then you drill it down to meaning is derived by emotion, positive or negative, but it's somehow the emotion. The emotion is the certain emotions have this attribute which is meaning. Is that what we're saying?
it's a fairly individualistic way of looking at it.
Yeah.
right? Because it doesn't obviously prescribe to others that easily,
Yes,
other than
yes.
others' abilities to sort of perceive our emotions and interact with them.
Mm-hmm.
But there is no, it doesn't provide sort of a grander idea of value, right? So in that terms, it's an individualistic structure. But that might be, I mean, we are ourselves, right? I'm not you. You are not me, right?
Yeah.
And we only sort of inhabit the world through our own mind, right?
Yeah.
But I think we can provide meaning to others, right? Through our behaviors, through our actions.